Hey, good morning. Hope you're doing well, team. It's that Friday feeling again. Hey, good morning, Ian. Morning, Matthew. Good to see you guys. Honestly, I wonder how long it is before people start remembering that a Friday is at 9:30. Always been the same. It's all good. All good. We'll get the session off. So, a bit of a reflection period. Talk about how the week's going so far. Yeah, everyone does. Everyone forgets on a Friday it's 9:30. Well, I mean, Monday through Thursday it's all 1:30, isn't it? And then Friday it's 9:30 a.m. I don't tend to trade on a Friday afternoon. Usually Friday afternoon is for wind down sessions, so I'm looking at the week, doing a bit of self critical analysis, thinking about where you can improve, stuff like that. So we're not really going to be digging in for potential fund ideas. If anything, this morning I actually removed 95, I don't know, as a rough percentage of the pending orders that we had open. The only remaining pending order in the market is the CAD Swiss. And to be honest, guys, based on where this is trading at the moment, this is now going to be removed as well. We are going to take the CAD Swiss off. We were waiting for, if you recall, we were waiting for the drop back into liquidity here and then to get the push up. But in actual fact, it's just traded upwards and then just stayed upwards for the time being. So there's no point. The chances of this dropping down to at around 62.65 and then sort of rallying to 62.85 within the day, chances are very, very slim. And I don't want to be caught in this over the weekend. So as it stands currently, we are completely and utterly flat. Nothing going on at all. So we did get one more win. We got a win yesterday in our stocks. We just got one single trade from our stock session yesterday. And we also got a win in the Aussie yen, which was this little one here. So that was a 1 to 2.6. So that was actually quite decent, that one. And that's the only other one we've got. So based on the fact that that's about 0.66, or is it 2.6, 0.25, 2. I think it's, forgive me, my maths is terrible. I think it's 0.64 or 0.66. So we'll end the week at 13%. Sorry, the week. Sorry, not the week. The week we've done probably 4.3%. I would say. So 4.3% on the weekly return. The monthly return is now at 13%. Trade win loss ratio at 57.95. The actual amount of losers and winners is very, very mixed this week. What we have seen is a real increase in the returns from the assets that we have been trading. So historically, we would always be looking for around 0.5 to 0.55 as the sort of average return, whereas the average return over the course of the last couple of weeks, I mean, we've been looking at 0.61, 0.73, 64, 62, 78, 77, 56, 57, 58, 59. So always getting quite a decent return. And then, of course, every time we're losing 0.25. So it's been really good. I mean, the win-loss ratio has declined a little bit. Still, though, I mean, holding well at 57.95, that's not too bad at all. I don't have any complaints about that whatsoever, but the risk-reward of the average positions that we've been looking at this week and tail end of last week as well have been really good. I mean, on the 16th, which was the Wednesday, was it? Yeah, Wednesday the 16th, we did 2%. That was a 2% day, so that was really nice. The Tuesday before that was crap, where there was a 0.03 day. Monday we did 1.04, and yesterday we did like 1.1, with the inclusion of the Aussie yen, which doesn't seem to have fed through yet. Probably because it dropped in early hours in the morning. So yeah, it's been pretty good. It's been really good. It's been really good. So yeah, I don't really have any complaints, to be honest with you. Looking at the price action that we have been trading this week, I would have said that we've definitely had to weather some relatively consolatory forms of price action, which haven't always been the easiest to navigate. A lot of our trading assets, to be honest, have been incredibly choppy, and we've had to deal with quite large portions of time. I mean, bearing in mind this is an entire 24-hour period in this Euro NZD, for example, which is just very, 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 very slowly ended up nowhere, in the grand scheme of things, And okay, we did have this big fundamentally driven move here, but look at it before, in the previous 24 hours. That's even longer than 24 hours, that period of time. And again, we didn't see anything. Again, look at kind of this condition. The conditioning of these assets at the moment is not the best. Euro yen this week, I need to clear that down. Euro yen this week, we did obviously get a relatively nice short. But again, look at the actual conditioning process of this asset. I mean, that's Thursday, and then all throughout the Asia session of Friday, overnight into this morning, it's not really done anything. Some of these pound pairs have moved, certainly, like the pound CAD, for example, that did really, really well. But we've had to go through, again, with all of these trading assets, these big areas of just kind of this cruising along sideways and lots of intermittent reds and greens, or in my case, blues and yellows. But, look at this, for example, Wednesday, Wednesday was just, it didn't do anything, did it? So I think it's kind of a good time to probably give us a pat on the back. I mean, Matthew, 2 point, what did you say, buddy? 2.2, was it? You're up this week, 15 wins, 7 losses, something like that. I mean, really bloody good effort, mate. Really, really good effort. And I don't think anyone should, even if you're down 1%. I mean, my God, like 1%'s nothing. If we're averaging out a 0.7% return on our trades at the moment, 1% can be taken care of in 1.5 trades as an average. So it's really good, and I think it definitely deserves a bit of a pat on the back for being able to weather these kinds of environments and these conditions that we're trading in at the moment and still come out either it's a very, very insignificant loss, or even better, obviously up on top. I think that's enough said on that one. Oil was a bit of a shame this week. I was expecting more from oil, and we haven't really seen much of anything, have we? We did get the really nice big sell-off from the fundamentals, and then it's just kind of bottomed out down here for a little while. So next week, I will be looking at which direction that goes next. I think, based on the deeper analysis that we've done earlier on in the week, we will probably be looking at the continuation lower, although we are trading at the bottom of a potential relatively newly established channel that we're trading in here. So possibly looking at that one coming back up, maybe hitting around 76.40 and then continuing to trade lower again. That 76.40 area up here is quite decent as well, because that is a previously used level of liquidity, so it kind of joins up really nicely with the upper limit there as well, so that we can take that short back down, even maybe to the previous lows here at 73.50 or beyond. So that's looking quite decent for next week. Natural gas has made some significant progress this week as well. Let me just clear down this. So this has made some significant progress this week. Really, really nice big move down here. We're coming into some pretty decent daily money here. So as we can see, highs retest, big institutional breakout, very strong pushes here. I mean, weekend gapped up and we didn't even come back to fill the gap. We just continued trading higher. And now we've had this really nice big sharp move down. If we can break through, if we can break through this area in here, then we've got the opportunity for a really nice push down to the bottom of the W reversal, which if you're struggling to see there you go. So big W reversal, got the break close and the retest of the midpoint of the W there as well, which confirms the pattern. So if we get the break of structure under here, we get the big push back down into that 187 area. So we can be looking to take multiple intraday trades all the way down in that run there, which could be easily done in a week and a half. Well, I mean, depends what we see next week. It could even be done in a week's time. So that one's definitely going to be on the hot list as well. Looking at gold at the moment, I mean, gold is absolutely killing it right now. We had a really beautiful big all-time high, a new one, 27.40. Absolutely incredible performance from gold here. Doing really well. Big break close retest and superb break structure, came right the way up. Having a bit of a price action pullback now, but next week the bias is definitely long. What I would like to see in particular is a nice retest of liquidity. So for the daily to close anywhere really from here on. I don't want it to close any lower. I'm looking for price action to close upwards of 27 and then come back next week to retest this area at around 26.89, and then possibly Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday we can look at those bullish that bullish momentum continue with the trend, and possibly look at some continued gold longs over the course of the 3-4 trading days next week that we're really sort of getting active in and getting engaged in. Looking at the rest then, some of these Aussie pairs have definitely been in their consolatory tones this week, as we can see here. I mean, the Aussie dollar, to be honest with you, has had a really nice sell-off, but the majority of this week's trading has happened between this area, after we came down here. So Monday's candle is this one, Tuesday's is here, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Sorry, that's obviously last week. This week we've got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So we haven't really achieved anything in the last 2 weeks. In fact, not the last one. The last 2 weeks we haven't done anything with there. Aussie dollar had a really nice big institutional breakout candle last week. This week we've been Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So basically right where we started. So no real difference there, 0.09% difference, as you can see. So it'd be nice to see, more of a significant breakout next week. Looking at institutional buying interest taking place a little bit more. You see this area in here. So this is your sort of buy side area. If the market breaks above the high there, you're really going to start to see things ramp up. The target for this one is going to be at this level in here. So you'll be looking at filling the margin. So that one's potentially going to be okay for us next week. Aussie CAD, again, really struggling, isn't it, this week? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So again, not really made it bloody anywhere. It's been really slow in these Aussie pairs at the moment. CAD Swiss, yeah, just... I mean, CAD Swiss looks almost identical to the 15-minute time frame, respectively. CAD Yen, look at that one. Euro Oz. Euro Oz has actually been okay. That's not been too bad. We have actually made a little bit of progress in a given direction. So we've got the breaker structure down here. So if we look at the 15-minute time frame, this is our Euro Oz. So this is really unfortunate, this one, guys. This Euro was short because, in actual fact, that's what happened to it. So even though it was a good call, it was the wrong setup for us, the wrong time, and we actually got in and got out honestly in the same sort of 30-minute bracket. We've got the breaker structure going on here at the moment. No trading opportunities to be had today. Again, this is going to fall into next week's basket. But this one could be a really decent margin of trade. And if you look at the daily, the evidence is definitely there to support this based on the institutional selling interest. If we can get the breakthrough of this area in here, you can see this from back in time. This is a really nice area, and we've seen a lot of ranging happen between this 160, 130 area and down at the lows there, big liquidity at 160.50. So this is where the accumulation of orders takes place, or actually more specifically speaking, it would be the distribution and then the reallocation of assets down here, and then that's when the market turns. So we could see maybe another big, not necessarily, I'm not calling a move like this, but we could see a nice bounce. So once we get back down here, maybe a bounce back to 61.86, for example. So that would be a nice one for next week's basket as well. Euro yen, I don't really want to talk about the euro yen at the moment. It's looking really bad. And to be fair, where it's trading right now, it's a rock and a hard place, because you've got the highs, you've got the lows, and that's basically the trading margin that we've got to work with. You get a breakout underneath here, you've got a real nice void. Now this is an order block in its most simplest, truest form. So if you're wondering, you know, always what the hell is an order block, that right there is the perfect example of what an order block looks like in its most simplest form. Order blocks can be formed in anything really. They don't have to look just one way, but that's how you will see you know, one sort of shape up before you see a big institutional element of buying interest or selling interest. It's where the price action comes down, it takes a break, orders are flowing into the market, and then you get a big push. Either it could have been up or down, to be honest with you, but it's really easy, like a nice beginner one, because you have the highs there and you have the lows here, and it's basically just waiting for one or the other to take place. As soon as you get the break of structure, which is this bit here, then that confirms the block in the first place. So that's that. Euro NZD. Again, next week, trade idea, nice margin. You could look at maybe trading back down to around 176.50. That could be really nice, possibly even lower. Retest those maximum lows down there at around 75.50. So again, next week could potentially be really good for us there. Pound against the Oz, again, relatively decent break of structure period here. So price action trading in the margins at the moment. We get the breakout down below 193.34, previous low retest. That could be decent. So nice little margin there for the trade. Not really happy with anything in the pound CAD at the moment, even on the daily time frame. Nor the pound Swiss. Pound yen could potentially be alright. So we've got highs and lows. So not a great week this week, of course, as we've seen. Very slow week. But maybe we could look at this as an opportunity to get ready for the breakout, like we have done on so many of the other pairs at the moment. Maybe look at a break of structure long, looking up at the high of 199.40 as a potential target for next week. I mean, guys, look at the change difference. A 0.01% difference at the moment for a week's worth of trading in the pound yen. That really sums things up a bit. I'm interested, actually, to know what the old VIX is trading at. Wow. Okay, yeah, so, I mean, that pretty much goes to show, doesn't it? That's where we're trading at the moment. 19.17. So not really doing too much of anything. So looking at cable, potential. Yeah, I mean, there's some potential in this. Buybacks over 131. So the interest could change here at this area. I would say 131, 131.20 or 30. And then we could look at the big push up to 132.50 or the previous high. Alternatively, we could look at the break of structure underneath this area at the lows, which is where you'll probably see increased levels of seller interest. And then we could be looking at taking that all the way down. Is that? No. So this is going to be a slightly wider daily representative, so about there. So you could look at that as the point for next week. NZD CAD. Not really a huge fan of this, but I'm not going to delete the analysis on this already, because actually that's you know, easily recyclable there. So possibly looking at this area, trading between these two, a break of structure, you've got a TRF directly above, and then you've got another TRF directly above, and then you've got the previous high. So not really a massive fan of the NZD CAD right now, where it is at the moment. NZD Swiss could potentially be okay. So we've got this area in here. Look for the breakout, retest of that area possibly. Then the push, you've got TP1, TP2. So a couple of different margins there to be working with. You've also got the lows down here, don't forget. And that's where price action's been for the majority of the week, trading between these two. So that could be something to look out for as well. NZD-JPY, not really a huge fan. I think the pound yen's probably a better option. NZD-USD, margin break of around 60-40. Maybe get a trading idea down to around 59.80. So you see that? It's basically this candlestick. That's what we're looking for. A repeat of this candlestick here. So that one could be okay. I'm not really a huge fan of the longs at this one at the moment. USD CAD this week has been insane, and that goes for the last week as well. The last couple of weeks, it really has been insane. Day to day, on a 15-minute time frame, we've seen the opportunities, but they have been, I would say, less than adequate to get stuck into. But on the daily chart, I mean, this is really been a decent mover, and we've got this all the way, right the way back up to liquidity at around 138.20. 138.20. Yeah. Next week, what are we going to be looking at for this one? I mean, forward view would be for the sell-off to take place, wouldn't it? We're thinking about a game of probabilities here. What's the likelihood of a sell-off happening? Well, count back in time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so we've got 5 for 5 at the moment, saying that a sell-off's going to happen. If we had any sort of breakout, like proper breakouts, we've had a couple of fake outs, but if we had any proper breakouts, then obviously that would reduce the margin here and reduce the probability. Here in recent price, but I mean, we're talking over the course of a couple of years. You know, this has been holding the USD CAD back over and over and over again. And with the fundamentals, the state of the US, I know Canada's not exactly much better at the moment, but I think this is probably lining up to be a relatively decent short. So we're going to have to get clued up with this USD CAD and make the most of it next week, I think, and start to see hopefully some pretty significant sell-offs and get involved in that one as well. Yeah, I'm not really a huge fan of that either. I mean, these USD, not the USD, it's the yen. These yen crosses, they're not absolutely superb at the moment. It's a nice move up, but yeah, we've got a major TRF directly above price, then we've got another one directly above that. If we're looking short, we've got to deal with all of these, which is looking rough. We've also got this high, which we have to now contend with. So, not really a massive fan of the USD yen at this stage. But yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at, guys. With the commodities in the FX space, definitely been a little bit more of a, for the most part, a little bit more of a consolatory week. But because of that, we also have a lot of very interesting, breakout criteria that are kind of waiting to trigger, that we can be building into our strategy for next week and how to handle that. So I am looking forward to next week. There's a lot of stuff that we've covered here this morning that could yield some really good results and bring that monthly return up. So we'll have to see where we are, have to see where we land on Monday, Tuesday. Rightio then. So let's have a quick flash over at the stocks. The US Open today. Obviously, I'll give you guys a bit of a perspective on the US Open this afternoon via sending in some trade ideas in the charts. So that's fine. I won't bother looking at those now, as I will always make sure that you guys are set up for the US Open no matter what. So that's fine. Looking at the European stocks at the moment, we've had, actually, to be honest, guys, some pretty decent breakouts. They did take place before the Open itself, which is the unfortunate side of things. The 8 a.m. candle was here, but we did get some pretty good 8 a.m. breakout moves. So where's the 8 a.m. candle? That was down here, wasn't it? So yeah, so if we consider the fact that this is the breakout, the breaker structure, then this trading is the European session so far on the EU 50, which isn't bad at all. And the DAX is very much the same. So this is the 8 a.m. breakout in here. So this DAX is a little bit more accentuated, which does happen. There's more money in the DAX than there is the EU 50. So if we look at this, fake out, come back down, breakout, retest, breaker structure. This is the moves that we would have had this morning. I did not trade these, obviously, but still, nevertheless, they are not looking too bad. At these current levels, I would say probably getting time to pull back. So if you haven't been in the European session this morning and you want to stab at it, breaker structure for your short is going to be there. Your target profit is down here. For the EU 50, your breaker structure for the short is in here. And your target profit is there. And that's your couple of trade ideas. And that's pretty much where I'm at, team. So, do you have any questions, guys? Anything that I can help you out with before I go? It's I think we reached the top of the hour now, haven't we? Do a little bit of a reflection session and have a look at the dailies for next week and line us up with a few opportunities in the bag. No? I can see you typing. All right. Nice one. Well then. Awesome. All right, guys. No worries. Well, I will love you and leave you there then. Thanks for joining in. Have a really good weekend as well if I don't speak to you again. I think I probably will, but if I don't speak to you again today, then have a great weekend and stuff. And I look forward to catching up with you next week. All right. So take care, guys. Have a good one. And I'll see you then. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.